Hey guys, it's Teddy Cranders there doing another action figure review, and this is for one that I actually got as a birthday present of my buddy Stan, and it is the Jason Lives Friday the 13th Part 6 NECA figure. Now I think this is kind of older NECA figure. I think it got reissued recently. I think if I remember correctly it was from maybe 2015, 2016 thereabouts. But NECA have reissued a couple of their older Friday 13 figures as part of the Ultimate line. So this is Ultimate Friday 13th Part 6 Jason Lives. So it comes in a box style packaging, but it has a opening flap. So you can see image of the figure on one side. The figure would be contained in here on the other, but he's removed. It's just held by a little Velcro clip. And you got the logo on the side, and then it just has a little bit at the back on the blurb for the film, if I remember correctly. So it says, as a child, Tommy Jarvis did what many others died trying to do. He killed Jason Voorhees, the mass murderer who terrorized the residents of Crystal Lake. Years later, tormented by the fear that maybe Jason isn't really dead, Tommy and a friend make a fateful trip to Jason's grave. And you can just see images of the figure. Then you got the kind of legal-easy stuff. The bottom, so it says sculpted by Kyle Windrix and Craig Gorrich, I think, Gorrich, that's how you pronounce his name. And there's fabrications, paints, prototypes, photography, packaging, and then director and set design. So that's it for the box. Onto the figure itself. So out of the Jason figures I've gotten so far, he does come with the least amount of accessories. That being the only other Jason figure I have is the one from Friday 13 Part 3, and he came with a ton of like blades and screwdrivers and knives and stuff, whereas this one just has, he comes with two knives. The one that he's wielding, the big machete, he's kind of trademark signature weapon, which is the big massive machete, which can be stored on his side. And just get into it. And then he comes with the smaller knife. If I can get it out. It is held in. He comes with a smaller kind of Bowie knife. And that just clips into the side pocket as shown. And there's a little kind of ring piece at the top that it clips into as well. Just here. So it can make it difficult getting it in and out. Now when you do get him, he actually has alternate hands on. He has one alternate hand, and it's this one, which is kind of a slightly tighter grip, and it's intended for the railing piece. It can also wield the smaller knife a little bit easier. The more slightly open grip is designed specifically for the machete. He does also have the removable mask, his trademark hockey mask. And on this version of the hockey mask, unlike the other one, it actually doesn't have see-through eye holes. The eye holes are covered in black, and it has a nice kind of glossy appearance to it. And just get a nice old close-up of Mr. Jason's face. You can see how absolutely grotesque it looks. He has been dead for, well, undead or dead for quite some time in this film, so he's fresh from the grave. He has this kind of nice kind of glossy sheen to his skin as well, so it kind of looks kind of I wouldn't say freshly dug out of the ground, but it kind of gives a weird kind of glossy nature to it. And then, as I said, he comes with this piece of railing, which is supposed to be on the grave, or on the graveyard. It comes in two pieces, and it's detached in the box, and you kind of wedge it into one hand. If we can get it in. It is a little tricky to get in, and then you wedge the other piece in, and it should join up, and you should be able to have them hold the piece together. Might be better with the other hand. Bear with me a moment. It is a little bit tricky to get in. I don't want to snap the peg on it as well, because it's quite a small peg. So you can get them to hold it in either hand. It's just I would be wary about snapping the peg that holds it together. You can remove that hand, as I said, by just pulling it straight off and replacing it with the other hand, but I'm always wary about doing it. So just for the purpose of the review, I won't. I usually tend to prefer to heat up the hands before changing them, even if they don't really require it. I tend to actually like to do the boil and pop method just to make sure that the peg won't snap on me. And then the last thing, accessory wise, it comes with, which is pretty cool, is the tombstone for Jason, which has a kind of it's not a complete tombstone. You can see that the top has been kind of caved off or worn away, but it's really nicely done. It's hollow underneath, and it just has Jason Voorhees. Now I know there is another Jason that comes with a different gravestone, which is the one for Pamela Voorhees, which is his mother. But it's a different sculpt of this one, so they didn't reuse the same part for it. All in all, he's a really cool figure. I do like the Jason figures that NECA have been producing. I know they've recently announced that there's another one due out, which is a Jason based on the first film, I think, or second film. But a rundown on the articulation: he does have a ball jointed head, so he can go all the way around, get some angles and rotate. You can turn the head all the way around, but it is hindered a little bit by his collar. His upper shirt is a slightly rubber piece. He does have waist swivel. He has the rubbery diaper crotch thing. He can do splits that much. He can go forward and back that much with his legs. Single jointed knees. His ankles are on rockers, but because of the way the pants are sculpted, it does hinder them. He does have single jointed elbows, which have a swivel. He does have jointed shoulders, which can go out that much and rotate all the way around. And he does have kind of, you see better on this side, he does have kind of ball jointed wrists and rotate all the way around. And as I said, he has the waist belt. Now the two sheaths are separate pieces, and this kind of pouch is a separate piece that are glued in place, so they're non-removable. But if you wanted to kind of customize them or do other stuff with them, you could remove it to use the body or something for another figure. It is plausible. But all in all, he's a really cool figure. And just for scale comparison, because I have him close by, here he is standing alongside the Marcellus Wallace figure, and you can see he does tower a small bit over the Marcellus Wallace figure, only because he's quite a tall character. Jason's always been very tall in the films. And then just for another size comparison, because he's close to hand, here he is with my customized version of the video game Turtles Shredder, also from NECA. So you can see there is a good bit of height between the figures. And just so you can see a 6-inch scale figure in conjunction with him, which is a bit smaller because these are all in the 7-inch scale. Here is my Classics, Mattel Classics Joker from Batman 66. So you can see there's a big size difference between them all. So there you go, guys. There is a quick video review for the Friday 13th Part 6 Jason Lives figure from NECA, and I do recommend picking them up. I picked mine up at GameStop. Well, my buddy got him for me at GameStop. We were in there and we saw it was a toss-up, and it was him or the Burke 2-pack with the Alien, the Hadley's Hope Aliens 2-pack, which I knew I couldn't afford, and my friend couldn't afford either, so he picked me up the set instead. So there you go, guys. Here's a quick video review for the Friday 13th Jason Lives Part 6 NECA figure, and I do recommend picking it up if you can get it. As I would say, just to be careful with NECA's articulation. If you do pick up NECA figures, I always tend to try and do boil the figure, or dip them into hot water. There goes Shredder. I do recommend always trying to actually, it goes for most figures I picked up actually recently, that any ones that I get shipped, when I first get them, I always try and give them a dunk into kind of warm or boiling water just to loosen up the joints, because I find that if figures have been transported from different places, since I buy stuff from the States and from on eBay from the States and from China and stuff, and when they're in transport it gets really really cold in the cargo holds, the joints tend to get stuck. It tends to cause them to become more fragile and break. So if you heat them up when you get them, just give them a quick bash of the boiling water method, and hopefully that should solve any issues for you. So there you go guys, this quick video review for Jason, and a small tip on figures as well at the end there. So hope you enjoyed my review. As I say, my reviews, as I say, my channel, feel free to like, subscribe and comment on my videos. Cheers guys.